July 7, 2022. A TikToker shut down a bridge in Mexico with luxury cars just to shoot a video. This angered one of Mexico's most dangerous cartels, and what they did to him changed the course of his life forever. Here are 5 times TikTokers messed with the wrong cartel. Number 1. Rodolfo Marquez. Rodolfo Marquez, also known as Fofo Marquez, is a controversial Mexican influencer with millions of followers across his social media platforms. Born on July 15, 1997, Fofo was undoubtedly born into a wealthy family. Although there isn't much information about his family background, we know his grandfather made shoes for high-profile dignitaries in Mexico, and his father was one of the owners of Total gas station before he passed away. Fofo's privileged background is evident, and his social media persona revolves around showcasing his luxurious lifestyle. He often posts about driving the most luxurious cars, partying in exclusive clubs with friends, and living what many consider the Mexican dream. Through these displays of wealth, Fofo garnered more than 3 million Instagram followers, becoming what Gen Z refers to as an influencer. However, his fame on Instagram wasn't enough for him. He decided to expand his reach to TikTok, where he not only built a fan base but also began landing himself in trouble. Fofo attracted a lot of attention, both good and bad. Many people wanted to bring him down. Yet, Fofo didn't care. His ego was massive, and he felt invincible. But that sense of invincibility came crashing down the moment he crossed paths with one of Mexico's deadliest cartels, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel. To understand the severity of Fofo's situation, it's essential to grasp just how ruthless and powerful the Jalisco New Generation Cartel is. Once you understand their operations, you'll see why crossing them, even as a seemingly insignificant TikToker, can have deadly consequences. In fact, several TikTokers featured in this video have also encountered this same criminal group, and the results have been devastating. Jalisco New Generation Cartel, also known as Los Matazitas, emerged in June 2009. They claimed, "We are the new group Matazitas. We are against kidnapping and extortion, and we will fight them in all states for a cleaner Mexico." These words appeared on a note left by the cartel after they executed 3 individuals and dumped their bodies in a truck. At first, Mexican authorities underestimated the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, viewing them as a minor faction within a larger cartel. However, the Cartel de Jalisco New Generation quickly proved their brutality. In one infamous act, they executed 35 members of rival cartels and left their bodies scattered in vehicles along a Mexican highway. Their leader, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, has become one of the most feared figures in Mexico. Number 2. El Mencho, the devil in human form. El Mencho was born on July 17, 1966, into a farming family with 6 siblings. Despite his humble beginnings, he chose a path of ambition and infamy, one marked by cocaine and violence. At just 14, El Mencho began working for larger cartels, performing menial tasks. Eventually, his criminal activities extended to the United States, where he faced a gang-related sentence in Texas. Following his incarceration, he was deported back to Mexico. Once back in Mexico, El Mencho joined the Millennium Cartel as an assassin. However, after the cartel fragmented, he aligned himself with a Sinaloa cartel subgroup under Ignacio Nacho Coronel. While working with Coronel, El Mencho handled drug operations, finances, and violent enforcement in the Mexican states of Colima and Jalisco. After a few years, he took control of part of the group and rebranded it as the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. With El Mencho at the helm, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel evolved into one of the globe's most violent criminal entities, donning military-grade equipment that could easily be mistaken for official Mexican military units. They're bad, they're cruel, and they're not to be messed with. So, what exactly did Fofo do to piss off this extremely powerful and corrupt organization? Just like almost every TikToker out there, subjected to posting daily videos to keep their followers entertained, Fofo was doing the same. But this time, he decided to do something not many have dared to do in Mexico. On July 7, 2022, Fofo took 3 luxury cars and parked them right in the middle of the Matute Remus Bridge in Guadalajara, Mexico. He came down from one of the cars and began filming the traffic that was building up right behind him. He said things like, We've closed the fort out ourselves. This is what I want to demonstrate, what money and power can do. Literally, I closed it here because I wanted to. Fofo went on to brag about how he had shut down the bridge for several minutes and how all the other cars were honking. He even contemplated doing a few TikTok dances while innocent people were denied access to the bridge. Fofo posted that video on TikTok, and it didn't take long for it to go viral. A lot of people online shared their disgust at Fofo, raining insults on him for his nonchalance and stupidity. One Twitter user even called him a headless imbecile. The mayor of Guadalajara also threatened to press charges against him. TikTok officially banned Fofo's account, and they took down the video in less than 48 hours. Unable to access his account anymore, Fofo resorted to other platforms to tender his apology. He apologized for his childish behavior and asked for forgiveness from the people affected. The mayor accepted Fofo's apology but stated that he needed to complete several hours of community service cleaning beneath that same bridge he had blocked. Left with no option, Fofo agreed to do as he was asked. But it was at this moment that the Jalisco New Generation Cartel decided to punish Fofo for his actions. Just when the smoke from the stupid video had died down, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel reignited the entire case with a message sent to Fofo Marquez. The message went viral on social media, originating from an anonymous account named Gente con la Gente NG, which translates to people with the new generation. The message, written in Spanish, roughly translates to this: "Hello to all the people of Guadalajara. We are the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. As you might know, the influencer, or scumbag, Fofo Marquez dared to obstruct the flow of traffic on the Matute-Remus Bridge. This is an act that we don't tolerate. We will not allow this animal to get away with this. We are in charge of Jalisco and all of Mexico. We will not allow you to come to Guadalajara and do this type of thing. If you ever step in Guadalajara, not you or your money will save you from us." Now, seeing how well Mencho and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel as a whole are driven by intense violence, it could have been anyone who wrote that message to Fofo. Members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel believe that El Mencho should be feared and worshipped by Mexicans. So, Fofo pulling such a stunt in a town under the direct control of El Mencho himself was an insult to El Mencho and his authority. Fofo's undoubtedly wealthy, but where his wealth stops is where that of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel begins. These guys rake in billions of dollars annually and control a significant portion of the Mexican government. Their message terrified Fofo because he knew that no one could protect him if the Jalisco New Generation Cartel decided to actually kill him. Once the message circulated, things got real. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel doesn't make jokes, and Fofo knew this. He tendered an apology to them online and immediately ran back to his parents' mansion in Mexico to seek refuge. But being in that mansion wouldn't change anything. The family then hired armed security men to guard the house 24/7. Even with this, Fofo wasn't safe. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel had taken down the deadliest cartel hitman squads and even battalions of the Mexican army in the past. So, no amount of security could hold them back. Fofo was scared. He couldn't leave the house for days, stayed away from windows to avoid sniper attacks, and even carried a transceiver around so he could communicate if he was ever in danger. After a few months, Fofo finally returned to his life, but his actions against the authority of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel altered the course of his life to this day. However, as crazy as that sounds, this next teenager had the guts to insult El Mencho directly. Number 3, Illuminati 6. Very strong words, right? Well, those were the words of a guy known simply by his TikTok handle, Illuminati 6. Before his account became private, he engaged his followers by accepting the dares they gave him. On one occasion, a user dared him to insult El Mencho, which he did. In the video, the TikToker wore a slacked black round-neck shirt and a pair of ripped black jeans. Carrying a backpack, he leaned on a light pole and said, "Listen well, you son of a bitch. El Mencho can suck my dick." He then added, "I don't sleep like El Parada or El Chanito de Goyacan," referencing two other social media teenagers who had been executed by El Mencho. He finished off the video by saying, "Untouchable. I made a pact with the devil. I came to give you fire, Mencho. I'm not scared to say this, I'll say this with the camera right here, Mencho can suck my D******. Wow. You have to applaud the guts of this young man who felt he could insult El Mencho. When the video went viral on Reddit and Twitter, a lot of people felt he must have been a member of the cartel to have such confidence in those words while showing his face in the process. Different users said things like, "RIP in advance. This guy's going to get himself killed, and this is a tutorial on how to disappear." For some reason, though, no word was heard from El Mencho or even the CJNG. Some rumors suggested that the teen wasn't based in Mexico, which would make it harder for the Jalisco New Generation Cartel to get to him. It was reported that he lived in Richmond, California, making it nearly impossible for the CJNG to attack him even if they wanted to. Plus, it would have been an attack on foreign land, further complicating things for their organization. So, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel didn't respond. But there was a twist. A few days later, this teen uploaded another video apologizing to El Mencho for his words. He said, "I'm sorry for what I said. I wasn't well. I wasn't conscious of what I was saying. It was wrong. That day, I woke up stupid. I didn't think about the consequences. I did that for followers. I ask for forgiveness. You and your family are well liked. Please don't kill me. I have a family just like you. I apologize. We all make mistakes. I have psychological problems, sir. Just remember, we like you." The internet went crazy with this apology video dropping because this was the same guy who had so much to say to El Mencho just days before. Just a few days before, people started to wonder whether or not El Mencho made a personal threat to the teenager without everyone else knowing. Or did he just snap out of his little TikTok fantasy to realize who the heck he was talking to? And while we never got to know what happened behind the scenes, this TikToker just vanished, and his account was made private. There was a video of him posting on another TikTok account some weeks later, but apart from that, no one can say for certain what happened to this guy. So, do you think El Mencho killed him off silently? I mean, maybe he did, who knows? Number 4, Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales and El Chanito de Cuayacan. Juan Luis, hailing from Mexico, gained internet fame under the alias El Pirata de Cuayacan, translating to Pirate of Cuayacan. Born in Sinaloa, Juan's upbringing was marked by hardship. His father's absence and his mother's limited work opportunities left him in the care of his grandmother, who could only do so much. Interestingly, his childhood neighborhood was situated just a few kilometers away from the domain of the renowned Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. However, Juan's path had yet to intersect with the world of narcotics until he opted to abandon high school and pursue a better life in Cuayacan. Upon arriving in Cuayacan, Juan took on various low-paying jobs to sustain himself. But concurrently, he developed an unhealthy affinity for alcohol. This habit of drinking permeated his work and leisure time, regardless of his underage status. And we all know, nothing good comes from consuming way too much alcohol. But for Juan, it kind of did. His problematic relationship with alcohol propelled him to prominence. He established a YouTube channel where he uploaded videos of himself consuming copious amounts of whiskey and beer, followed by his reactions to becoming intoxicated. While it might have seemed unconventional, these videos garnered an unexpectedly massive number of views and reactions from the audience. Adding an element of humor to his content contributed to his rapid rise. His Facebook page amassed over 1 million followers, while his Instagram had around 300,000. Remarkably, his popularity led to appearances in music videos and television shows. But again, nothing good comes from consuming way too much alcohol. Juan's sudden fame took a drastic turn for the worse. He started posting images on his Instagram that didn't sit well with the older demographic because he was just 17 years old at the time. These photos depicted him with firearms, luxurious automobiles, and often scantily clad attractive women. And although everyone thought he had landed himself in the evil underworld of Mexican narcotics, he wasn't affiliated with any cartels, at least not yet. Instead, a meeting with Beto Sierra, a social media management expert, marked the turning point for El Pirata. Sierra's guidance encouraged him to transition away from alcohol-centric content and embrace more marketable ventures, such as unveiling his own merchandise and even attempting a singing career. However, Juan remained like a ticking time bomb, and his fate was sealed sooner than anticipated. On multiple occasions, Juan openly expressed his defiance towards numerous adversaries, including a drunken video in which he provocatively insulted Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, "What's his name, everybody? El Mencho." He uttered these exact words, which carried a bold confrontational meaning in English. Loosely translating to, "El Mencho can suck my expletive." I mean, I really don't get why these guys put themselves in harm's way, knowing how dangerous El Mencho is. Not even El Chapo's cartel dares to provoke Jalisco New Generation Cartel, and we know it's because of their extreme levels of brutality and violence. Yet these teenagers, maybe for a few likes or the eagerness to go viral on social media, see the need to call out a man who kills humans like flies. In response, a furious Jalisco New Generation Cartel issued a stern warning for Juan to avoid stepping foot in Jalisco if he wanted to remain alive. But Juan didn't care. He went ahead to host a party with his friends at a Jalisco bar. That was the moment Jalisco New Generation Cartel sicarios sent him on an immediate journey to the afterlife. On December 18, 2017, armed men stormed the bar where Juan was celebrating. With a hail of over 18 bullets from high-caliber firearms, his life was abruptly extinguished in less than a minute. The numerous wounds inflicted made it so hard to even recognize the body. It was later identified by the tattoos on his arms. His death, rather than his life, became the subject of a feature in Rolling Stone magazine, focusing on his demise at the hands of Jalisco New Generation Cartel and, of course, the stupidity of challenging one of the most wanted men in the world. But also, with his death, another Mexican teenager saw it as a medium to gain clout. With the death of El Pirata, El Chanito decided to call out El Mencho, saying he was out to seek revenge for the death of his friend. The viral video showed El Chanito holding a rifle along with a small child, whose face was covered, also wielding a rifle while they cursed out El Mencho. They called El Mencho words like stupid and even mocked El Pirata for consuming so much alcohol just for content and internet fame. I mean, you don't need us to tell you that this statement obviously led to El Chanito's death. But for El Chanito, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel decided to take things to the next level. El Chanito apologized for his statement to El Mencho and played the insanity card, claiming to be mentally ill. But this didn't stop the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. El Chanito went off social media for a while, and everyone suspected he had been killed. But the real confirmation of his death came when an anonymous Redditor posted a video of him being beheaded by Jalisco New Generation Cartel sicarios. The footage was immediately taken down for its graphic content. The message had been passed: do not mess with El Mencho. Number 5, Leslie and Pamela Montenegro. Leslie Ann was a Mexican social media influencer who gained fame as a TikToker. Sadly, she met a tragic end due to her decision to reveal intricate details about a notorious cartel in Mexico. Known by her online persona Nana Pelucas, Leslie engaged her audience with videos ranging from politics and makeup tutorials to daily vlogs about her life. Her online presence took a unique twist when she adopted the persona of a lady sporting a black afro wig, bold red lipstick, and oversized glasses. In a manner reminiscent of current TikTok trends, she would amusingly interact with people in supermarkets, asking them trivia questions to get their reactions. As time went on, Leslie's following expanded, prompting her to shift her content toward exposing corrupt officials within the Mexican government. Leslie didn't outright call out names. Instead, she skillfully conveyed her message through humor, though its impact remained unmistakable and stirred up considerable controversy. Of course, one might think that exercising freedom of speech would carry no harm, but in Mexico, that reality is a bit different. The journey toward her tragic fate began when she started shedding light on the activities of the enigmatic independent cartel of Acapulco, one of Mexico's most secretive criminal organizations. This particular cartel operated stealthily, often overlooked due to its clandestine nature. They played a massive role in the hundreds of homicides carried out within the town of Acapulco and were one of the many smaller groups in the area. Returning to Leslie's narrative, her publicizing of the cartel's actions exposed her to death threats. Banners accusing her of collaborating with rival cartels to unveil the independent cartel's secrets and deliver them to the Mexican government began appearing around her restaurants. In response, Leslie vehemently denied these allegations, asserting that her information stemmed from reliable sources and that she had no affiliations with any cartels. Despite these threats, she remained resolute, continuing her postings and exposing the cartel's activities, which turned her into a genuine threat to their operations. February 5, 2018. Two men entered her restaurant during her night shift, ordering beers before mercilessly gunning her down. She received 3 shots to the upper body, ending her life on the spot. Fortunately, Mexican authorities managed to apprehend one of the individuals responsible for her murder, El Pepas. The subsequent trial, however, took a perplexing turn. The presiding judge inexplicably dismissed the charges against El Pepas despite an abundance of undeniable evidence. This unsettling outcome starkly illustrated the deep-rooted corruption that Leslie had fought against. Cartels manipulated the judicial system, even influencing high-ranking government officials and copying instances like El Chapo's daring prison escapes. Leslie's demise inadvertently led foreign entities to investigate the Acapulco cartel's affairs, eventually revealing the city's perilous state. The town itself made the ranking for being the world's second most dangerous city. The United States even issued a special travel ban to dissuade its citizens from visiting the city of Acapulco. Leslie's hope of exposing the city's issues to both the public and the Mexican government aimed for change. Yet she tragically underestimated the extent of corruption. So, in her pursuit of justice, Leslie messed with these cartel members and paid for it with her life. That, my friends, is something that won't be forgotten. Earlier this week, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel posted a video online in which they directly threatened Rusty Tucker. Newscaster Anzacina has also managed to imprint her name among those in the bad books of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. In August 2021, Miss Udest became a target of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel after they released a message calling her biased and a supporter of vigilante groups in Mexico. Miss Udest is heavily involved with the press, and as of now, what seems to be her TikTok account has been made private. In the video released by the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, 6 sicarios were dressed in black clothing and carried automatic weapons, while a 7th man, who said he was a representative of El Mencho, sat down and delivered his message to Miss Udest. The spokesperson said, "I'm not against freedom of expression, but I am against anyone that attacks me." He went on to talk about how the cartel would find and kill Miss Udest for tarnishing the name of their organization. According to their side of the story, the vigilante groups that claim to be peacemakers in Mexico are, in reality, drug traffickers in disguise. These vigilante groups have carried out countless attacks on different cartels to portray themselves as heroes to the Mexican government. However, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel believes they're just another deadbeat group looking to profit from the spoils of the Mexican narcotics underworld. They also claim that only a cartel would possess the kind of ammunition that these vigilante groups wield. Miss Udest's life became a national treasure after the Jalisco New Generation Cartel's video went viral. The Mexican president, Abeto, assured the country that nothing was going to happen to any Mexican or even Miss Uresti for speaking the truth. In his statement, he said, "It's our responsibility that Mexicans are not intimidated or threatened by anyone." The presidential spokesperson, Jesus Ramirez Cuevas, tweeted a post about the incident, saying the government would take the necessary measures to protect any member of the press from speaking their mind. Then Miss Uresti spoke for herself, saying that she was now under the protection of the government and didn't seem bothered by this statement from Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Since then, Miss Uresti has been living her life, and there have been no attacks against her. It could be that the Jalisco New Generation Cartel has decided to let her be, or they could be waiting for the perfect time to strike. Either way, journalism is a tough job in Mexico, and I don't see why Miss Uresti should blindly put her faith in a government that has sat back and watched hundreds of journalists before her die at the hands of different cartels. So, maybe Uresti is the only TikToker and social media personality to mess with a cartel and get away with it. Maybe she'll still pay the price. And maybe, just maybe, you like this video. Join the fam and subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. But the truth still remains, messing with a Mexican cartel for clout is one of the worst things anyone can do.